Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on when you're watching this. So basically now we're doing kind of sort of like, I could call it an epic journey, basically of on the road, which is quite different now because it's going to be on air. If you don't recognize this place, this is called Tambo International Airport. There will be an episode actually that's going to come regarding that. And also, how do you like the merch? New merch. Yeah. Okay, cool. Anyway, let's keep exploring. So as I'm moving around, I'm looking for an ATM because one thing that I always recommend that you do is always wrap your bags whenever you can. This is not only protects your bags, but also there might be pilfering. You never know whichever airport that you're going through. But it's always nice that actually you do wrap up your bags. So to wrap up your bags, actually in all South African airports, it's 100 rands. So you need to have that in cash. They do not accept cards, and I think actually that's what they do all over the world. So once that is done, then now you move on to your check-in gates. This is where now you're going to be dropping off your bags. So most airlines actually, they allow up to 20 kgs basically of check-in bags, and also 7 kgs of what you call of the luggage that you're going to take in with you on board. So with Emirates, they allow 2 times 23 kgs basically of luggage. So once you checked in your bags, and then now you're going to walk all the way to your left towards the security gates. So remember, on Terminal A, they're on the left hand side. Terminal B, they're on the right hand side. And then you're just going to snake through the lines basically. So also again, you need to give yourself enough or ample time basically when you're coming through this area, because it can be packed really bad, and then you'll be stuck in lines. So once you're through that security check, you're gonna have to go through passport control, which also again can take quite a long time. But luckily, by the time that we went through, it was actually pretty almost empty basically. Once then you're done with that, it's almost then like now a free time for you to relax, especially if your flight is not coming anytime soon. Just like now any other airport, you're actually going to be walking through duty-free shops. This is basically where then you can make purchases if you want to make some purchases. Basically with duty-free, it's just that you can actually buy some of the stuff here without taxes being imposed. But remember that your destination that you're traveling to might be charging extra taxes. But basically now, because we still had about 3 hours till our flight, so as we're strolling through here, we're just busy now looking for our lounge. And for me, I do not have access actually to all other lounges. So the only one that I have access to here in Johannesburg is Slow Lounge. And also the reason why I use Slow Lounge specifically here in Johannesburg than in Cape Town is because in Cape Town you have to be at a very high paying grade in order for you to access Slow Lounge. Whereas in Johannesburg, you just need to have like your basic access, and you should be able to have you should be able then to have access through Johannesburg. So here we actually passed some of security gates that I didn't know that there are other security gates on the sides. So these ones, you'll actually find them when you're going towards the viewing deck. So again, as walking along here, you see quite a lot more shops for you basically to do your last minute shopping, especially if you didn't get any souvenirs for your loved ones. So yeah. So then the boards around will show you basically where the lounges are. So for us, for Slow Lounge, basically you just need to climb upstairs, and then you just look for the entrance. As you can see here, I was busy trying to look for the Access app that I forgot that actually, where exactly is the entrance, because I'm like, why is it so dingy in the first place? Because I've never seen Slow Lounge so dingy. Only to find out I was at the wrong place, so I need to turn around, and then there you are welcome. So as you can see with Slow Lounge, it's basically for F&B and R&B. So we're just sitting at the lounge, and then basically now it's time for you just to relax before you fly. You can have some food, you can have some drinks. So then usually at just around 40 minutes to your flight will actually start boarding. Because we're leaving with the A380, you have to give yourself ample time. So another tip basically when you're traveling, especially if you're going to be visiting the lounge, please always make sure that actually you do check how far is your gate before going to the lounge. That way you know how much time it's going to take you when you leave the lounge and towards your gate. So when I got to my gate, it was quite full. Then I decided, while I'm on Terminal B, I can have a look basically at the dock and then to see what other planes are out there. So yeah, I'm still making my way through because it's quite a walk. Unlike many bigger airports, actually you walk for quite a long time, but here it's not too much of a walk when you go towards your gate. So when we get to our gate, then you realize, it's actually packed. But I'm like, okay, while it's packed, let me also just go and view these awesome, beautiful aircraft that are literally on the apron. So you see here the Air Mauritius Airbus A350, and right behind it there you have the Queen of the Skies, the Boeing 747, and then you also have other A380 planes from British Airways, and also then the beautiful, actually weird looking, I think it's Condor, the one that is green and white. And then you'd look, there's again another Singapore Airlines A350, but I was not there for the A350 or for any other plane. I was looking for my own. I was looking for the Airbus A380. If there was one thing I would never say no to at any given day, is a travelator. Like, your legs get to relax a bit, and it's nice because it actually makes you also feel that you're walking faster than you really do. So as we approach basically our gate, so remember again, because of how big the aircraft is, you will be here when you're boarding, you will be boarding in zones. So this means they'll start boarding obviously first class, business class, and if you have economy they'll board first, and then obviously economy you will board last via zones. The aircraft, the Singapore Airlines in front of us, that's the Airbus A350. That flight I think actually was leaving closer to actually our flight all the way to Singapore. But yeah, this is what I was looking for. The king of the skies, the Airbus A380, my favorite plane basically currently now of all times. I think I'm in love with quad jets because I used to love the Airbus A340, and now the A380 is what really takes my heart. So again, I was just busy there viewing basically apron on basically the other side of the apron, also on Terminal B to see some international flights and some local flights I like also here. For me, it's always a pleasure when I get a chance actually to fly on the A380, because the A380, I'm yet to hear a passenger who said they've had a very unpleasant flight on an A380, because the plane is basically, it's also very quiet. That's one thing actually that most people don't get. It's how quiet the plane is when you take off and landing, and also less turbulence. So the plane is a pleasure again for us as travelers, but it's a nightmare for airlines because most of them actually it's costly, because first of all it's a quad engine, so it has 4 engines, but it's, for me, I think actually it's way cheaper to fly than, for example, a 787 or a 777, because I don't know the full calculations basically of seat per mile, but if you think about it, this one plane can hold close to over, I think on a 3-class configuration, close to over 500 people, and then on a single thing close to 1,000 people. And if you can see, literally the lines are also just massive. That's also the downside of boarding an A380, it's how massive the lines can be. So after I think it was about 30-minute wait, basically because where I checked in, I was sitting right at the front, we got to board last, and it was also quite hot. On this day, Johannesburg was quite hot, especially when you're sitting on the air bridge. So I remember at one time, one of the ladies actually even had to open up for us so that we can get some fresh air. But for me, I was very excited and I was looking forward, to board the Airbus A380. And it also doesn't hurt when you greet your air hostess, basically your air crew, and joke with them.
Hi. 40K on the second right. Okay, just what's your ticket for it?
Okay, thanks. The couple's upstairs. That's fine.
They made this mistake again.
Yeah, no, they always do. Yeah, it's always good to leave like a good impression, especially when you board. Also to show you how massive, because most people don't realize how big this aircraft is. So they are the flight deck. There's staircases that lead all the way up to first class and business class upstairs. So basically the compartment where you see now at the front, this is basically where we're sitting. This also does help quite a lot when it comes to the noise. And this is my seat here, which is a 343 configuration, just before our flight, just getting in. So this is basically how our plane looks like. So the upstairs is the first class, which is a 121 for configuration, and then you have the business class, which is a 242 configuration. So because we're in a 3-class airplane, we just get the seat, and then you have the famous Airbus bar, and then the bathrooms and the galley. But hey, we are downstairs. One day I'm going to be upstairs there. But from here, then you'll see basically this is the flight deck up there, and then this is the entrance where we entered. And then as you're coming through, basically you're going to go to my seat, which was 48K. So this is basically where I'm situated, also quite in front of the engines. It also gives you a view actually of the two of your right engines, engines number 3 and 4. It's a beautiful view that you can see there. Also again, if you're sitting here right in the middle, actually you can, you're also quite shielded from the sun because now all the engines are below you. And then if you're sitting at the back, there is slightly more noise because the engines are there, but again, it's also very shielded from the noise because of how massive the seats are. So how massive the engines and the wing are, so you're quite far. And then at the back you also have the bathrooms there and then the stairs. But yeah, I'm gonna go back to my seat so that basically you can show you how it looks like. So basically what Emirates has is a very cool thing where you can actually kind of see how your seat would look like, especially if you've never been on the aircraft before. So here it actually shows what it looks like, but here this one is wrong because if you're sitting on K, you do not have an electricity plug. So the aisle seat and the middle seat, they do have the plug. So that's supposed to be here, and then this one's supposed to be here. But I didn't need it because the USB also is also powered, so you can see that. So this configurator, you can see basically what it looks like with the lights on and with the lights off. It's kind of quite cool. I like that. So you can also see how big the screen is. So ICE is basically, every person who has reviewed, they'll tell you how beautiful the system is. So then while we're sitting, basically the safety briefing video started. But now the thing is, because the plane is so quiet and it's so massive, you can barely feel that it's actually quite moving. So yeah, they have this nice basically new safety video, so now you don't have people standing around. But again, because of also how massive the windows are, you also get to see a little bit of like tambo and its beauty. So yeah, you can see again, A380, you have a tail you have a tail camera, a wing camera, and the front camera. For some reason the front camera was not working while on this flight, so only the tail camera, which also had a bit of fog in it. But anyway, decided just to enjoy the view of coming through the window as we are approaching the runway. So here we're crossing runway 3 left. This is the exact same runway that we're going to take off. So you see that aircraft there, it's waiting to take off. So we're going to be going via the taxiway. I think it's taxiway Charlie. And then from there, from taxiway Charlie, we're going to make a right turn. So we're going to make a right turn to taxiway Juliet. Before then we turn right again on runway 3 left. Then we're going to be taking off. That's basically where we're going to take off. So we're going the opposite way where we're going to take off. So again, as the plane is moving here, it's still fairly quiet. Actually, you can barely feel. So for example, if the shutters were closed, it will take you quite a long time for you to actually realize that we're moving. Of which now I can actually imagine now the people upstairs above us as to whether can they even feel, basically, obviously if they're looking through the window they'll know that we're moving. But it's so cool. This is why the A380 will always be a fan favorite for everyone who flies, who's actually been in it, even though it's a nightmare for most airports and also for the travelers. And look at those two beautiful engines. I think that's the Trent 900. Yes, actually it is the 4 Rolls-Royce Trent 900 engines that power this beast, basically. So that's why it can be able to fly, and that's why it's also very, very quiet and comfortable to fly. So right here now, as we exiting taxiway Juliet, approaching runway 3 left, about to take off. So from here, the cabin crew, everyone is settled in. One thing actually I forgot to mention is that if for example you are quite big, or the thing you actually feel quite uncomfortable with the seat belts, you can actually ask for an extension and they'll happily give you one. So yeah, now we get ready for the big send off. So to prove how quiet, we are literally rolling on the runway. It's extremely quiet compared to any other plane. Well, also the advantage for us is because we're sitting way up front, close to the engines. But literally, we're accelerating down, and I'll even show you the bottom camera. That's literally the runway lines. Yet you can still me well. You can still hear me while I'm talking to you. Like, that's how smooth. So basically, as we took off, again, it was still quite comfortable on the flight. You didn't have that singing feeling on your stomach. It was just nice. But at cruising altitude, then yeah, they gave us a very, very nice tasty egg sandwich. I really loved it. Then also with a cold drink. So which is why if you have an opportunity to eat at the lounge, eat as much as possible. Because yeah, you never know when basically you have your big meal. But because it was lunchtime, it was nice. And then outside you get to see the beautiful view of Johannesburg. And also here you can also see how big the windows are basically on an Emirates A380 flight. Please be on the lookout for the full review of the Airbus A380 and also the Boeing 777 on the top right hand corner once available. Next, we were fed our very nice dinner, which was also quite tasty and amazing after a good night's sleep. Because I think I slept for about 3 to 4 hours, which is actually quite rare basically to sleep for that long on an economy seat of a basically a long haul flight. But I could say yeah, it was quite comfortable, and also the gap between the seat and also the wall, it's not too much. It's quite bearable actually. And that's the view from the tail camera. Whereas if the gap on the basically on some of the seats on the Airbus, on the Boeing 777, quite. So when we talk about being spacious, this is a big space considering. First of all, I'm a big guy, I can say. But I'm just gonna get my screen. But I can move around fairly easy around. It's been like 2 to 3 hours now on this flight. The toilets are very clean, like basically clean. I can't smell, so I can't tell whether the lighting is also good. And they have a massive big mirror. Lovely. So the taps actually here, they're actually electronic, so they use sensors, so you can actually choose your temperature of the water just by moving either more cold or in the middle. Yeah, but it's all up to you. It's actually quite different. Yeah, as I was saying that the bathroom was fairly clean, and then afterwards, again after a good night's sleep, it was basically now here we're approaching Dubai. About to land. It's been quite a long flight, but it's also one thing that was actually quite cool is that even though we're landing, again, it's still fairly quiet. I didn't have pins and needles because I was moving quite a lot during the flight. That's one thing I also recommend is that every hour or two wake up and move around, walk around the flight so that you don't get that pins and needles pain, which is it's not nice because it makes it difficult to walk. And again, as you see, as we land in Dubai airport, because we do quite a lot of walking, but it was a very, very nice flight. Well, second leg done from Johannesburg, landed now in Dubai. That was our bird there, and just now going to transfers and then do the whole wait again, then move on. Keeps going, but hey, and it's flipping hot, 31 degrees Celsius. I'll link it here as to what it is. Very nice. But anyway, welcome to Dubai Airport Connections. And therefore we've reached the end of this video. If you haven't actually subscribed, please make sure that you subscribe and like, as more content actually is going to be coming through basically. Whereas on the next episode actually we're going to be taking it from Dubai, where we explore the lounge a little bit, and then we board the Boeing 777 all the way to Phuket, and fun things, lots of great things happened there. You don't want to miss out. We'll see you on the next one. This has been On the Road with Luando.